Good evening, Yorktown. Thank you for being with us today. My name is Supervisor Matt Slater. I am joined via Zoom by my colleague, Councilwoman Alice Roker. How you doing, Alice?
I'm good, Matt. How are you?
We're good. I'm also here with our town clerk, Diana Quast. Diana, thank you so much for helping us set this feature up so that we can get Alice and our county executive on Zoom. This is the first time that we've utilized this in a live broadcast, so it's a test for the next week's town board meeting, which we plan on doing via Zoom, which is, I believe, Tuesday, April 14th, a week from today. That's right. So we are going to just provide a couple of updates and reminders and welcome the county executive, George Latimer, momentarily. The new number for the town of Yorktown of positive COVID-19 cases is 208. That is an increase of 26 from yesterday. Westchester County now has 14,804, which is an increase of 510. And New York State has 138,863 positive cases, an increase of 8,174. The most dire number that was shared today by the governor was 731. 731 New Yorkers who've lost their battle with COVID-19. It was the most of any one-day total thus far, and that brings the statewide total to 5,489. Here in Yorktown, again, we do not get an official notification, but we have surmised that we now are at least 6 of our neighbors in Yorktown that we are aware of who have passed due to COVID-19 or the coronavirus. The flags will remain at half-staff in their remembrance, and our hearts go out to their families, their friends, their neighbors during these incredibly difficult and trying times. A few reminders. We had the Chief Noble here last night. As a reminder, for those who have tested positive for COVID-19, again, we're at 208, and we've consistently said that number, unfortunately, is behind by about 72 hours, is our belief. And so we're asking for folks to be more proactive, which in turn protects our first responders. And if you do test positive, if you could self-report to the Yorktown Police Department directly to Chief Noble, he updates what's called his CAD system, and this way, when our first responders do respond, because they continue to do so, when they do respond to an emergency at someone's house, they are properly notified if there is a COVID-19 positive case there. The way to do that, to self-report, is to email rnoble@yorktownpd.org. Again, that's rnoble@yorktownpd.org. As a reminder, yesterday I signed an executive order or an emergency order which doubled the littering fine from $500 to $1,000. Littering continues to be an issue. I believe that we've seen, in all fairness, a decrease in what we originally saw, but it continues to happen. And at the end of the day, it's just simply unacceptable, dangerous, and disgusting. And having spoken with our town board members, we felt that doubling the fine was the right decision to make as an effort to deter littering in our town. Also, as a reminder, schools are going to remain closed until April 29th at this point in time. That is the date where New York on pause now expires, as ordered by the governor. Also, as a reminder, the Regents exams have been canceled, and our school superintendents are communicating directly with parents to provide updated information and guidance, especially for our senior classes. Tomorrow from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., again, this is Wednesday, for Wednesday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., Walmart is hosting a special shopping time for first responders and frontliners. That's Walmart over in Mohegan Lake. So for any of our first responders and frontliners, you can go to Walmart tomorrow from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. for an exclusive shopping window. Our parks in Yorktown, our active parks remain closed. Again, those are our basketball courts, playgrounds, sports fields. FDR Park, which is a state park, remains open, but as a reminder, New York State has closed all of their active park features. So their sports fields, their playgrounds, their courts, those are all closed and prohibited from use within FDR. The bike path, the North County Trailway, does remain open. That is a county park, and that remains open as well. And if you are using the bike path, I've had several people reach out to me. Please remember, it is rather narrow. So if you're cycling or walking or running and you have two people, please do your best to single file, especially when you're passing other people on the trail. Also, as a reminder from Chief Noble, for our friends and neighbors who want to utilize this time to walk and run in their neighborhoods, please make sure you do so against traffic, not with traffic. That improves safety for both motorists and pedestrians. We also received an update today from Northern Westchester Hospital. To date, in the last 4 weeks, they've had 176 individuals hospitalized due to COVID-19. They have discharged 67 at this point in time. Also important for folks to know, if you do utilize Northern Westchester Hospital and you do happen to drive over for some reason, they are installing a field hospital in preparation for that apex, and they're providing additional support to the hospital systems who are continuing to see a very large increase in patients. As a reminder, taxes for the town of Yorktown, the deadline remains April 30th at this point in time. We had more positive and productive conversations today about potential solutions, but nothing in stone. So at this point in time, again, April 30th is the tax deadline. You have multiple ways of paying. You can pay online. If you pay online and you do an electronic check, there is no surcharge. If you pay by credit card, there is a surcharge. That surcharge is not dictated by the town. That surcharge is dictated by a third-party purveyor who processes credit card payments. So you will experience that surcharge. You can also mail in your taxes. We do have our town hall staff here. Our tax receiver's office is processing tax payments. So you can mail your taxes in, or you can leave them at the drop box, because public buildings remain closed in the town of Yorktown. But our drop box remains open, and you can drop your taxes or your tax payment off in the drop box, and it'll be picked up and properly processed. We've received questions about receipts. The tax receiver and her office assures me that for anyone who does submit payment, if you call the tax office, they will be able to provide you with a receipt upon processing. Let's see. Alice, Councilwoman Roker, did you want to add anything? I have a few more things. We got some positive news that I wanted to talk about. I have a couple more things from the governor's office, but I wanted to see if you had anything you wanted to add tonight.
Yeah, well, while we've had this time to sit, I have done my census questionnaire.
Right.
It was simple. The questions are not difficult. And hopefully everyone will take the time to do their census.
That's great, Alice. Yeah, the census is still ongoing. We get reports from the county. It's a very important process for everyone to take part in. I know that the county executive has been pushing that, County Executive Latimer, who I believe we're trying to get on right now. And I'm sure he's got additional things to say about that. Before the county executive joins us, I do want to share just a few positive pieces of information. First off, because we can all use some positive news these days, I want to wish a special
happy birthday, a 10th birthday to Kaylee, who's going to be celebrating her birthday on Sunday. Her mom asked me to give a quick shout out to her. They're supposed to be away at Myrtle Beach celebrating with her grandparents. Unfortunately, with everything going on, we're not going to be able to do that. But Kaylee, a very special happy birthday to you as you turn the big 10, double digits. I also want to thank and applaud the Musa family. Ray and Hanan Musa, they provided an incredible service to the town today. They own a few gas stations in town, one of them being the Shrub Oak Shell Station on the corner of Barger Street and East Main Street. They provided masks and hand sanitizers to the tune of 1,000 people today. They handed out 1,000 masks and 1,000 bottles of hand sanitizers. I just am blown away by their generosity. People will always ask me what makes Yorktown so special. Well, that's what makes Yorktown so special. That's the Yorktown way. We're always there for each other, always finding ways to provide a helping hand, and they were just absolutely tremendous. They've also supplied, I believe they're delivering them tomorrow, KN95 masks to our first responders here in Yorktown. So to Ray and Hanan and your entire team, on behalf of our entire community, thank you for your incredible generosity and leadership. And then last but not least, I have a bit of a fun thing we're going to try to share. We have incredible first responders here in the town of Yorktown. And earlier today, let's see if I can do this. Earlier today, I had a video sent to me from the Yorktown Volunteer Ambulance Corps. How we doing, Tommy? We getting all this? All right. And one of our neighbors
stopped by with a pretty special surprise for the Yorktown Volunteer Ambulance Corps. Again, we've honored them already this year. We're going to be honoring them again. They should be honored every week, frankly, for what they've done for this community.
I totally agree.
Mohegan Volunteer Ambulance Corps. Town of Yorktown's ambulance corps is 100% volunteer. So when they come running through that door, they're not paid. They are your neighbors. They are your friends. They are your family. So a little treat from one of our neighbors as a token of our community's appreciation.
Hello?
Yep. Is that the county executive?
It is. Is that the supervisor?
County executive, how are you?
I'm good, Matt. How are you?
We are doing good. And I'm going to end this right here. We're showing a quick video we had. And I know that you did a great tribute, County Executive George Latimer joining us. You're here with myself and Councilwoman Alice Roker. We really appreciate your time joining us tonight.
Hello. Well, I'm very happy to be with you guys. And I'll try to be brief because I know you've got other things that you want to cover in your time together. But I wanted to give you a quick update on where we are on the coronavirus outbreak, and then also to open it up to any questions that time permits from any of the members. Very simply, we start out with statistics, and we've seen the coronavirus grow really exponentially over the course of the last few weeks. Overall in the county, we have 14,804 total positive tests for coronavirus. Now, 4,600 of them are people that were tested 2 weeks or more ago. And the vast majority of those people have not shown any symptoms. And so we start to take them off the active list after they hit the 2-week mark. That leaves us about 10,000, a little over 10,000 active cases. What you see on TV is an cumulative number of positive tests. Of the 10,000 some odd active cases, 1,000 of them, 1,056, are hospitalized right now. And that is the zone of concern that we have relative to our hospitals. We know that we've got 3,000 beds that can accommodate people. We're trying to add some more through what the governor's initiatives are and what we're doing at the county center, which should be about 100 beds inside and out when it is completed its work sometime in mid to late April. But with 3,000, call it 4,000 beds, maybe even slightly more than that, if we start to reach a 20% level of hospitalization, then we will be pushing to the max what we have available in terms of bedrooms. Right now, if we have 3,000 rooms available and there's 1,000 hospitalized, we're okay. But the degree of the severity of the illness is a factor. We've lost 283 people to the virus so far. To give you a comparison, Nassau County has got about 50% more population than we do. We're about a million, about 1,300,000, 1,400,000 in round numbers. We have 14,000 positives. They have 16,000 positives, but we've tested 46,000 people. They've only tested 36,000 people. So they have a much higher ratio of positives over negatives. And we've had 283 deaths. They've had 500 deaths. So this is not the NBA standings that we're competing. It gives you a perspective, though, I think, that Westchester, as an entity done through the state of New York, we've tested more. And at this point, we're in a little bit better shape. But the 283 people that died, they were friends, they were neighbors, they were people we knew in that group. And their death is really a tragedy. And it is creating for, a problem for the hospitals, the nursing homes, the funeral directors, the cemeteries, because we don't usually have that many people die in any concentrated period of time. And so there is a backup in getting funerals done and cremations and so forth that makes for one of those additional issues that we hadn't considered. From the Yorktown standpoint, I've been in contact with the supervisor regularly, briefing the numbers. And even 10 days ago, the numbers were, fairly small. But now you have 208 confirmed cases, positive cases in the town. That number is likely higher because we have a bunch of numbers that we get from the state that say unknown, which means they haven't gotten all the information they need to have on the geography of the individual. But, from practical standpoint, we know that 208 cases as a percentage of the town population isn't much, but you don't know how many people have been tested and, what the results are in all of those different things. So hopefully, we're going to try our best to get a handle on those things. At 100 miles an hour, we mentioned briefly that we set aside the county center to be a temporary hospital backup to the existing hospitals. We have turned over Glen Island Park for drive-through testing. It's almost about 3, maybe it's 4 weeks. I lose track of the weeks now for drive-through testing. And I agree with the position that people in northern Westchester have taken, that the state ought to set aside a northern Westchester site as well. FDR Park has come up as a very logical choice. But there should be a northern Westchester testing site as well to be convenient for people up there, for Putnam County people. We back that call. It's up to the state to decide to do it, but we think that makes a lot of sense. And it'll help us get even more of the backlog out of the way, because with all the people tested, there's still plenty of people that need tests, and it takes time to get them done and to get the information they need. Our emergency services department, headquartered in both Valhalla and Hawthorne, are responsible to serve as a clearinghouse of the various different requests for PPEs, personal protective equipment, things like gloves and masks and gowns and so forth, and also hand sanitizers. That is a factor as well. And if there are requests from the town, I assume that the EOC has been meeting those requests. I'm not 100% sure if every one of those requests have been satisfied at this point. I assume Matt and your team will let us know if there are any problems to try to deal with that. We have on the phone with us Ellen Hendricks, who's the Assistant Director of Intergovernmental Relations, and Susan Spear, some other members of our team can help track that information down for you if there's any problems. And we're getting our supply from the state, so we're the middleman to do the distribution, collect it and distribute it, and go forward in that fashion. We have our public health department nurses are out. They are doing testing along with the state health nurses, and they're doing the in-home testing, the testing that goes on with the various people that can't get out and test in the driving situation. So we're concerned that we reach as many people, test them, and then, of course, if they do test positive, that they're isolated and not in a position to infect other people. So that is a factor with what our health department is doing. I know you don't have much in the way of Beeline bus service issues up in your neck of the woods, but we have restructured the Beeline bus system. We have cordoned off the drivers so that they can't be infected by any of the passengers. And we then have passengers riding in the back of the bus, entering and exiting. And because we can't collect fares realistically there, we wind up having a fare-free system right now. So for those who do ride the Beeline bus system, that's the situation there. Our economic development team under Bridget Gibbons is putting together a group of volunteers to help local businesses be able to apply for SBA loans and for the payroll protection program, which is tricky. The application is tricky, and we're hoping to get volunteers trained so that they can then be there to help small businesses and help them apply for this money, which has been made available to the feds. We don't know all the details of what was done in that bill 2 weeks ago, but we're going to try to be helpful as a clearinghouse of information. That would be positive. And I'll just wrap it up by saying that in the county, we have lowered flags to half staff to recognize the loss of these, fellow Westchester people on our county buildings and facilities. We obviously don't have the authority to authorize all flags, neither do you, but the governor and the president do. But we just think it's the right symbol to send to those people who have lost their lives. And also because our first responders have put in so much effort, police, fire, EMS, and the healthcare people. They're on the front lines just like veterans are in a war. And, hopefully we'll all get through this. It's not going to be easy, and it may not be as short as we'd like, but we're all going to try our best. And we obviously want to be a good partner to Yorktown, and we think Yorktown's been a good partner to us. Hopefully we'll get through this thing, and in one of these future meetings, I'll be there in person, and then when the meeting's over, we'll go out and get a beer together.
County Executive, I really can't thank you enough. Your leadership has been tremendous. We've been in constant contact together, either directly with you or with your staff, and we really do appreciate the bipartisan partnership that we forged on behalf of the town. And I kept telling people that for people like you and me, it's about the people of Westchester County and the people of Yorktown. And we've done, I think, we've worked very well in making sure that our needs are met. I know that we have on
our county legislators, Vidat Gashi and Colin Smith. And so I want to thank them both as well for all they've done for our town. They've been incredibly helpful, especially working as intermediaries with the EOC. I've spoken with both of them about specific topics, specific issues, and they've been tremendous as well. So I really want to thank and commend our entire delegation on the county level for their help and support.
I do have a question for George as well.
Sure, Alice, go ahead.
George, are there any plans for probably widespread testing as we go into whether it's the beginning of the apex or the end of the apex, so that once this is over or over as best it could be, we're able to understand if there are other people that are still infected? Probably widespread.
Well, Alice, one of the things that we're hoping, we've heard stories in this direction. We don't know that they're confirmed yet, but there's been a lot of effort made. I think Regeneron is one of the many companies around the country that's done it, is an in-home testing kit, which will give us a reliable positive reading or negative reading. And if we can get to that point, then we have the great opportunity of having testing, the equivalent of every man, woman, and child. Because right now it's really held us back. Originally, the testing was the CDC wanted to control all testing. They made a decision in early March to give that up and let the states do it. And then for a while, the states only had one laboratory they could process it. And then they were able to broaden that to deal with the various hospitals and their respective laboratories. And you need across the board testing, just as you've described, if you're going to really know what we're dealing with. And as much as we've done more testing in Westchester per capita than any other jurisdiction in the state, we're still behind the testing. So you're right, but I think it's going to take technology, excuse me, or if you will, the nature of science to get us an in-home test kit. I'm told, unlike the questions about an antiviral to defeat the virus or a vaccine, that we're closer to getting an in-home test situation, and that may happen relatively soon. If it does, then I think that's the answer to your question.
That's wonderful. I too want to thank you for the leadership you've shown in this pandemic. You've been wonderful in getting the information to Matt, who has gotten it to the members of the board as well.
Well, thanks. And we got a lot more work ahead of us, so we'll keep doing it.
County Executive, we know you're a busy person. So I just, again, want to thank you for taking the time to update our residents. And we stand here in partnership with you and your staff and the county to get through this absolutely unprecedented situation. So thank you again.
Thank you, Matt. Good luck to all of you, and everybody stay safe.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much. And I think we still
Okay,
have,
bye-bye.
I don't know if Vadot and Colin, are you, our two county legislators, are you still on the line?
Yep,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
here.
Would you like to provide a quick update for the residents?
Sure. You want to go with that? You want me to?
Go ahead, Colin. You can go ahead.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, I think the county executive covered, well, first of all, let me say good evening, Supervisor Slater and Councilwoman Roker. Thank you for having us this evening at the town board meeting. And thank you for all that you are doing for the residents of Yorktown. As the supervisor stated, you know, we have been in regular contact regarding issues surrounding before coronavirus hit, you know, regarding the town. But obviously, since we're now in crisis mode, there's been much more urgency to that. So, and I just want to say, you know, for the record, that I think that the supervisor is doing a fantastic job in you know, leading the town through these times, and along with the town board, you guys are doing a great job out there. So,
The team effort, Colin. Thank you. Part of that team, my man.
My pleasure. Yes, and I'm happy to be part of that team as well. So I think that the county executive touched on you know, pretty much most of the basic points. You know, I know we've met Supervisor Legislator Gashi, myself, along with other legislators and town supervisors and village mayors have been on regular phone calls with the county executive, and so the you know, the issue is right now we're in the process of you know, enacting the property tax relief measure, and I know that it's been you know, it's been challenging to come to a consensus on what the best way to approach this has been, but with through the collaborative efforts of both the county legislature and the town supervisors, we have come to a consensus, which I think most people are relatively satisfied with, although I am aware that not everybody is. And so, you know, the basic, and I don't know if you've covered any of this at all, Mr. Supervisor.
No, not yet. I was hoping to. My understanding was that there was going to be a meeting coming up from the Board of Legislators, and at that time, we were going to provide additional detail as to what the proposal is. We do know that the county executive made a proposal that since has changed. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that original proposal did change, and so
That's
the board has commiserated over what change means for the town, and I think that there may be a few more pieces to the puzzle that we'd like to see added. But at the end of the day, you know, again, we appreciate the efforts being made. It's not an easy conversation because we understand and recognize that you're dealing with the entire county, and not just the town of Yorktown. And I think the town of Yorktown is in a bit of a different situation than some of my colleagues and some of our neighbors in other municipalities. But we're hoping with a few more conversations that we may be able to provide the level of relief that we were hoping to achieve.
well, and I think that just, I mean, and the public hearing for the proposed measure is currently scheduled for Tuesday, April 14th, next Tuesday. And then the public comment period will be extended out. Written comments, of course, will be extended out through April 17th. So between now and then, you know, obviously there's still time to discuss and talk about, you know, what the final product will look like. Although I would imagine it's essentially in the form that will ultimately that seems likely to be approved on the you know, on the 14th.
And so,
But
excuse me, sorry, legislator, just to be very clear and transparent with everybody at home, the proposal is a reduction of the late fee penalty to 0.5% for the month of May, to 1% for the month of June, and up to 1.5% up until July 15th. So for everyone
Right.
who I just want to make sure that we're very clear and transparent about what the package includes. So it would not extend the tax deadline necessarily, but it provides a much more reduced to 0.5%, frankly. For someone with a $5,000 tax bill, you're talking $25, but a much more reduced penalty for a late fee for May, June, and July, much more reduced than what is currently on the books.
Right. That's correct. Go ahead, Vidal.
No, I just I would just reiterate that public comment session is well, maybe we can send around a note with the specifics on how people can access and comment.
Yeah.
And I think it's already been said largely, but on this one, the county executive did propose something, and I think the majority of the legislature, anyway, decided to listen to, I think, town supervisors collectively who got together and decided that this is the most workable plan forward. And I think, Matt, you yourself and the rest of your colleagues, by all accounts, did a great job in coming to consensus and coming up with a solution. For my own take, and I think it bears saying I take into account the fact that, you know, $25 out of 5,000 is a small number, and some people called it de minimis. I'd have a preference to eliminate the penalty during this period. I've said that, and I think I continue to say that. That's my only hesitation with the whole thing.
Vidal, I don't mean to speak
Yeah.
from the town board, but from the county legislator Gashi, but from the conversations I've had with the board, we would agree with the elimination of the late fee because, to your point again, 0.5%. What are we really accomplishing? People are facing, you know, severe economic hardship, and so I think that's, again, and Councilwoman Roker's with us. I think that we're in agreement with your assessment, and I, frankly, was one of the few supervisors who was advocating for a complete elimination of the fee until July 15th, so it coincided with the federal and state income taxes.
Matt,
I just have a hard time penalizing.
Don't know if
period.
all
Yeah.
of the residents of Yorktown understand that Westchester County is one of those anomalies. We are responsible for paying taxes. So therefore, if someone doesn't pay their taxes, then the town of Yorktown must pay those taxes, must go into our coffers and give Westchester County money.
Right.
Right. So I think the problem that we've been seeing from the conversations that I've been a part of is, you know, May 25th, regardless of what revenue comes in, the town still has a tax bill to pay.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so that tax bill for the town of Yorktown stands at $12 million, which is a tremendous hit if there's no revenue coming into the town. And we recognize that.
Right.
And I think that the town of Yorktown, though, is in a bit of a different situation than some of the other municipalities that were voicing their concerns about this. But again, I think County Legislator Gashi, I think our board's in agreement with you that it's a very minimal percentage fee.
Absolutely.
Considering the circumstances people are. So I think, frankly, would agree that a full elimination of the penalty for July 15th would be the best for our residents.
Thank you, Supervisor Slater. Again, the public comment session is still open, and people still have an opportunity to that effect or other it's obviously we don't want to spend the whole night talking about it. Obviously, it's a terribly complex issue. There's a lot of different moving parts. This is a county bill that we're something we're pushing through the county, but the penalty is actually a town penalty. The towns would be the ones enforcing. The towns would be the one levying and receiving any penalty. It's a strange system. As Councilwoman Roker mentioned earlier, we in Westchester are beholden to a kind of strange system here. Actually, and though it's tangential and taking me off topic slightly, I did want to note that it's a little bit complicated, but through the budget, we had a good thing happen for Westchester. Up until this point, up until this budget, Westchester County was the only county that required a referendum to be passed if there was going to be a bond over $10 million. It sounds like not that big of a deal, but it wasn't a control on the cost of a project, but rather the bonding for it. So what it meant was that a project would have to be broken down into multiple bonds, multiple authorizations. There was a bunch of red tape and frankly waste that I couldn't see who benefited from, absent maybe bond attorneys. Anyway, that's been done away with. Westchester, to that point, was the only county in New York that was beholden to that system. This budget changes that to eliminate that. So that was, I think, a huge win for us. I'm excited for at least a bit of positive news amongst all this craziness.
No, that's great. We appreciate that update. The budgets, I think, overall are a point of concern for us as well as you, as well as our state legislators. I can tell you, we've restricted or froze all non-COVID related spending in the town of Yorktown until we get our feet back underneath us and have a real understanding of what financial impact is going to be. I'm going to be meeting with our finance team and each department head later this week to go over budget projections and try to find additional ways to tighten the belt, just out of pure precautions to make sure that at the end of the day, we're not putting the taxpayers in greater jeopardy because of this unforeseen circumstance. So, we're doing our part, and we clearly appreciate and applaud your efforts on your side. I will make a point to participate in the public hearing as well as a written comment to just the town boards. The town board's position is known, is on record, and it's not to slight the solution that was ultimately brought forward because it took a lot of effort and a lot of angst, quite frankly. I was on those phone calls. I was in those discussions. But like I said, I think with all that's going on, the right mindset is the Yorktown way, and the Yorktown way is to help our neighbors. And so if we can help them by eliminating penalties and fees during this financial hardship in this pandemic, then I think we have a responsibility to do so.
Totally agree.
As a Yorktown resident, I appreciate that.
And as a neighbor, I appreciate that.
I just want to thank you both personally for your incredible advocacy and partnership for the town. Whenever I needed to get in touch with either of you, one ring and you were there, and I really can't thank you enough. It means an awful lot to the residents, and I know that we're going to be able to, by working together and working for the people that we all represent, we're going to be able to overcome this absolutely unprecedented situation. So thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Thank you,
Supervisor.
Thank
Thank
you
you to the
both.
board. Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you, Councilwoman Roker. It's a pleasure talking with you both this evening, and we will talk again soon. Well,
We look forward to the days when we can have in-person
Sure.
meetings.
Cannot wait.
yes.
Cannot wait. Gentlemen, thank you.
All
All right.
Have a good night.
Have a nice evening.
You too.
Councilwoman, is there anything else that you'd want to add tonight?
Yeah, I want to just add add my thanks to you. You have been a shining star. Your leadership has been exemplary, and I think I speak on behalf of everyone in Yorktown. Thank you for what you've done for the community. We appreciate it.
Well, listen, it's a team effort. And how many times do I call you a day?
We talk a lot.
But it's not just me. It's our staff. It's our department heads. It's this town, you know. It's the Yorktown way. I mean, that's what I keep going back to now, because that's what I feel in my core. I was raised here. Those are the values that I was raised with, and it's just been. It's not one person. That's all I can tell you. There's a lot of people doing a lot of work around here for the people of Yorktown, and everyone deserves a heck of a lot of credit. And
I want to thank you.
I appreciate that. Again, before we sign off, I just want to offer one more time, as we do almost every night, a sincere hand of gratitude to all of our first responders, all of our frontliners, our doctors, our nurses, all of the volunteer corps,
our Mohegan Volunteer Fire Department, the Mohegan Professional Fire Department, Professional Firefighter, excuse me, the Yorktown Volunteer Fire Department, the Mohegan Volunteer Ambulance Corps, and of course the Yorktown Volunteer Ambulance Corps. And last but not least, that police department over in Yorktown. I brag about it every chance I get, and they have not faltered. They have not slowed down. They've been absolutely tremendous for this community and protecting our families. And so my hat off to all of our first responders and frontliners. And I truly believe we're going to get through this. I truly believe that we're going to be able to see the light soon. And I think that we're going to be able to get there together. And that's the key with this community. That's the Yorktown way. Before we sign off, I do want to wish a very happy 19th wedding anniversary to our town clerk and her husband. Today's their 19th wedding anniversary. She threw that out there. Didn't think that I'd remember it, but happy anniversary. Thank you for spending your night here with us and for putting this together, because the town clerk's office, and specifically Diana Quast, has quarterbacked this putting Zoom together, not just for the town board, but for our other departments. The planning board had a meeting last night. They had a work session last night utilizing Zoom. We're going to be back as a town board next Tuesday on a Zoom platform. And Diana, thank you very much for your help and assistance getting this done. I really do appreciate it. And with that being said, again, folks, I'm just going to reiterate one more time. Your choices matter. It's a time to be compassionate. It's a time to be understanding. It's time to be a neighbor, now more than ever. That's the Yorktown way. So please be safe, be smart, be healthy. And if there's any new information, we'll be back tomorrow to provide it to you, the public. Thanks so much. Have a good night.